Shy Wager and Sancho West on the mic. Sancho, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling great. It is Valentine's Day here, and it is prime time in the EU part of the world, and we're all gathered here today to figure out who's going to be the first 10 into the semifinal stage for the FNCS Season 5. Let's go, Shia. Let's get it.
It all starts here. The first round 4 to watch. The top 10 is what we're focusing on, but there's many different stories coming into today, Sancho.
So many.
Some people who are up high off the hot takes, looking at, people like Analex looking to hold their spot up top. But this trio we're watching right now, all the way down on the south side of the map, Juker, Plains, and Tarper God, we're coming in close to 33rd in the qualification for today. So they're looking to come from the outside in. Right now, though, Savage, iDrop, and Tayson, they're looking strong, but have a huge 6 fights ahead of them at Salty Towers.
This is going to be the showcase kind of POI, and we have so many here for you folks to kind of highlight. This is going to be the one at Salty Towers that we've been seeing so many high-profile names drop here in Salty Towers. So now it's up to Bad Sniper to slow down Mr. Savage and Tayson. Now you see Tayson sitting up very high here, looking out, being that scout, holding Tripper at his line here. But you're already seeing Bad Sniper taking some hits, and iDrop. Now Tripper is getting bopped. But here, another showcase, and we're going to go ahead and kind of jump across all the way across the island to see this big-time showcase at Steamy Stacks, Sayo.
Yeah, this Steamy Stacks matchup is actually so much hotter than before. And Dreadit here, as per usual, RefSguard right beside him, Scram down at the moment, but up against AR Baffo, who's down at the moment, and passive as clutch.
And every time you got to pay attention here, folks. These drop spot battles are going to matter so much so going forward, as Andretta confirms Baffled. These are the kind of engagements that you want to keep an eye on as much as possible, because this is going to set the course for the rest of the ride here. Again, we have 6 games, and already it's going to be a tit for tat right now, as RefSguard now has to Void. Passive and Void are going to have RefSguards on the run. It is a huge advantage. It's a 2v1.
And we saw a lot of this happen yesterday with Void and Passive. These guys are coming in 3 wins off of round number 3, 2nd place overall. They knew how to kind of condition Steamy Stacks, bait people in first, usually to the central building, and take 1 or 2 people out before confirming those eliminations. Honestly, the most strong, or one of the most strong trios here playing today. The most wins from before, and wins matter so much today, Sancho, as well. I see them, if they end up winning Steamy Stacks game 1, to continue from game 2 and onwards as well.
And it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to keep an eye on for the rest of the way. And you at home have to keep an eye on as well to see how is RefSguard and Andretta and Scram are going to come back here in match 2. At the same time, these two have been battling throughout the entire season. They know each other like the back of their hand. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to the EU region. You already talked about it, Shayo, at the opening of the match 1, how so many teammates are kind of mixed and matching. We have little hodgepodges here and there. I mean, you mentioned that we have duos kind of pairing up with new trio mates all of a sudden. That's what's really exciting.
At the same time, it's kind of like staying consistent for a lot of the trios that we're used to watching. People like Nikov, Blaster, and Alpha on your screen. We have Miro and Swag still playing together as well. With Snap, it's just really nice to see some of the same things we watched before that reign true, like a low ground trio that does really well, still playing with each other again and making sure that there is still some consistency in the region. I'm excited to see how these guys do today. A little bit of a middle of the pack in round 3 yesterday, but it's to be expected when you're trying to keep things consistent. You're just trying to fly by. Today's the day to pop off, though, and get that top 10.
And you talk about consistency in trio, Analex, Snazzy, and Squeeze. Is Snazzy going to be that new member there as we're replacing Janice from the past FNCS trios? And we're getting first taste here of some interesting, quests that you're seeing. And Reese kind of talked about the gold and how gold could be a factor and how gold could be a huge kind of, so much things you could do with this currency that has been introduced into competitive. You could upgrade your shotgun weapons. That's going to be huge. You could also find exotics. I already seen some Twitter clips out there in the social sphere of the dub shotgun making some big noise out there. So be interesting to see as we see a snipe comes out from Michael. We did see a stat here that the EU region has the most snipe elims throughout the world, Chayo.
They also have some of the trios that have just control of their spots better than any of the world. Mexi, Virox, and Michael do that at Dirty Docks. You were talking about exotics as well, Sancho. I think they play a big part in those endgame niche box fight moments, but it's control of the map, being able to play for Storm Surge, things that Virox, Michael, and Mexi are so good at doing outside from Dirty Docks on this rotation. You have so many mountains you can exploit, so many mountains you can camp behind as well. They're doing it so well so far, landing tags, and I feel like these guys are going to have a great 6 games today.
And if this is your first time watching competitive Storm Surge, it's going to be a huge factor for these trios. That is a huge kind of piece of the puzzle they have to solve. That's going to determine how they're going to rotate, how aggressive they're going to be in the middle game, in the end game, and more importantly, if they're going to survive. Because Storm Surge tags are going to be quite nasty. It hits 25 HP for being the passive player, and that's why you're seeing this utility item of the sniper be such a prominent use in the FNCS competitive scene. Not only does it does massive damage, especially a headshot, but it allows you to go on through. Michael getting that tag right there allows Mexi and his trio mate to kind of rotate easy. Now we've got a nice look here at the new POI, Stealthy Stronghold. You got to watch out because not only it's a new one, but there's a Predator running around in this POI.
Yeah,
most likely he's gone though. Most likely
he's gone for now. But still,
gone.
they're hunters. They're hunters in the POI still.
Oh yeah.
Heatsy, Snagged, and Steelix. These guys
agree.
coming in 4th place off of yesterday. No wins either, so they're kind of reigning true to what, you know, Reese and Levin are always trying to preach, the analysts of the region, that consistency ends up winning games. You don't always need victory royales. I feel like though, when coming out of round 4, wins do have to matter somewhat to stay in the top 10. We're actually getting updates from a lot of our top 10 teams from yesterday overall. That first game, Sancho, momentum means so much. If these guys make the right decisions, if they have a good game number 1, it's going to be so much easier for them to control the map in the next few games.
Here is the control of the map that's breaking down right here on this rotation of Virox, Michael, and Mexi running into that Cammy split trio of Browner and that company right then and there. You're going to see a lot of rotations kind of colliding here as they're getting smushed by the safe zone. As you see already, the first zone has been revealed here. And this is the moment here you got to figure out. Checking early engagements is usually not a great idea. So right now, they're just kind of keeping pace, making sure they're keeping an eye on each other. And speaking of a hunter, we have some deadly trios about to be hunted down right now. Steelix is right now is the eye of some danger of eye drop, Savage, and Tayson. And this is a trio you don't want to see. What are they doing way over here?
I have no clue, but honestly, camouflage in the jungle actually gets discovered. Now a pinch turns into a crazy messy box fight, and these guys are right in the middle of it.
Here we go. Heatsy now trying to get hold onto the stair. The stair's being held down tight for the moment. No spray tags going through. Now Heatsy and Snagging in a little bit of stalemate, and it's going to be a good old-fashioned storm fight. And this is actually a good place to fight in this storm here, considering that Stealthy Stronghold does have some fishing spots available if things do get drawn out. You don't want to expect it. Now we're going to have a little build-off here, and Tayson and Eyedrop are going against Snagged, and you see Savage is already kind of put back on the back foot here for a second, having to retreat and heal up, and now he can be up to that 100 HP with no shield, but this is not good if you're Heatsy, Snagged, and Steelix, Shio. You don't want to see this trio in your POI.
It might actually be good for both trios. Just depends on who wins overall. This is definitely a push for Surge. It's still first zone, so it's not that much damage overall to either trio. Savage did take a big hit, had that med kit to kind of snap back. Now, though, it looks like Eyedrop, Tayson, and Savage have their classic type of breakdown, chasing a team inside the storm, making sure they can't move without seeing an enemy first. Here's Savage kind of holding the floodgates before Heatsy can really drop out. Running low on mats as well, just 8 left. Looks like the tags are about to come through. Savage, Tayson, and Eyedrop should be confirming a few shots very soon. There's the first shotgun shot, does not land, but now Tayson's hot on their heels.
Tayson, of course, is now all in full aggressive, and so is Savage here. The pursuit is on, and looks like Steely and Heatsy are going to go ahead and drop down below into those safe catacombs. Yes, here goes. Nice look at here. Agent Jonesy's, of course, set this all up, and we talked about the lore of Fortnite here, and it's going to be the moment of a little safe haven, a moment to breathe here. But you still have these deadly trio hunters knocking on the front door. And we talked about Savage and Eyedrop. Their duo ship goes for a long way. But Tayson, it's been on a tear here in the EU region. Literally, Shio could go for a back-to-back-to-back FNCS championship. And that in itself is going to be a storyline that we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the entire FNCS.
Absolutely. We'll see exactly what happens in Stealthy Stronghold, who makes it out first. Obviously, Tayson has the control over there. On the other side of the map, all the way towards the center, there is a little bit of a battle at the Coliseum / some control for the desert. Might be some oil underneath the dunes we don't know about, but these guys are trying to get rich off those tags. This is Advice, Cubix, and Artor. No eliminations just yet. I think everything's planned for per usual. Sitting right outside the zone, people will have to walk by them at some point. And just like Savage is doing now, they'll get some tags and then move in after the fact. Past that as well, we were watching a bunch of different trios kind of rotate over from those dirty docks. Raze, Frey, and Arion are one of them. I would say a trio that's finally now finding some success playing with teammates. They're kind of a mishmash trio. Arion playing with many different players. Frey as well back and forth. Now these guys are kind of combined into a trio, have a little bit of a wild card aspect to them in their gameplay. They're going to be rotating right beside, a trio that's nothing like a wild card whatsoever. Andalex, Lazy, and X Squeeze, the top contenders, and honestly, the ones who I would say are a shoo-in for first place today. Two very different types of trios in the center of the map.
And what is different as well is the format. As you see here, Victory Royale is going to be 30 points. Second place is going to be 25 points. Third place will be 20 points. And the elim factor is going to be big. That is 2 points, double the amount than what all these competitors have played with. And now you're going to see a little bit of a traffic jam up ahead. It's multiple trios all converging on the same rotation. The Play Well trio now is turning and burning and stopping this mismatch team that you're talking about of Raze and Frey and Arion. And they're going to have to slow down here. And these are the kind of situations that you're going to have to navigate as much as possible. Right now, we're seeing, look at the inventory, not that great. And this is what happens when you're not having a solid home or a power POI to work with. You literally have a gray lever action shotgun and a gas can. Out goes the gas cans. Can this play happen? A huge explosion, bang all over the place, and down. What, did Frey survive? Frey may have survived, but Crizzle went down in that battle and Play Well. They're about to be ignited into the flames on this rotation here as we have a battle out here on the Gorgeous Gorge.
Frey was the one to construct this play, but then gets deconstructed completely, dropping down the low, and now a 9-way fight. One trio down, one man in the river. It's going to be so difficult for Arion, Ray, and Frey to reallocate. There we go. They lose that power position up top, have to go all the way down low. This might be really bad for their surge overall as well. The storm is moving. Them falling low early could actually prove beneficial, but definitely wasn't planned.
I looked at the feed and the deal down, confirmed out. Ooh. That's really big as well. That's my pick. Look, I don't want to mean to put a caster's curse or anything like that, but the deal has literally been one of the top players in the EU region. If you've been keeping up with the EU side of things, Vidil has no doubt up in those kind of rankings, and combined with Noah Riley and Reason and reset itself, one of the best fighters, 3 trios in the world, and for them to go down, the deal to go early, hey, that's going to be looking like we're going to look at for like 16th place coming into this round 4, coming on round 3. They only got 2 victory royales, but I'm just quite surprised that the deal went down so early, Shio.
I mean, for them, it's always kind of fast food. They're going in and out. They're straight up just trying to get some type of play done very aggressively. It works or it doesn't. They move on to the next game. Right now, though, it's kind of a thick sandwich overall up inside this kind of this gorge here. We have Venom, Crizzy, and Stir6 all the way up top, the Play Well trio, and Alex in between, and we know already Frey's on low. Tukes is there as well, rotating up with that sand little bubble, but at the same time, this is just a very messy rotation in general. To be this congested this early, kind of unprecedented from this rotation pathway. At the same time, you'll have to make the perfect play, get into a good position if you want to keep your game on track.
I kind of like that. As you see Vettel and Crizzy and Star6 making this rotation through the Kids Cantina is, yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head. Usually they funnel out respectively, they kind of white line it, or they usually do a nice little rotate through the dead side, but they're literally white lining in this weird trajectory. And look at the congestion that we're talking about. You talk about the butter barn, everybody literally is coming on down to the butter barn, baby. It's talking about low prices on thick butter, as you see Star6, Vettel, and Kizzy using their nice sand tunneling to avoid that thickness and get away from that, as you have a nice look at Browner, Yax, and Rabbit. It's just so interesting. These are the type of players, though, Shio, that you're going to be seeing all the time in their rotate, and they know that, and that's why they're going to put Browner here is putting some extreme pressure on Frey, and now they're going to try to get inside of this fortified base as much as possible, but they have to wrap this up quickly, considering that there is a lot of trios who may have eyes and send down beams into this box fight.
At the same time, if they do end up winning the box fight, lots of resources for them to use. Raze, low HP, just recently picked back up. The storm now glazing over their eyes. All they see is blue, but at the same time, feel the red rage of getting pushed inside this fight. Now there's 4 different trios inside that storm. Just segmented. Everyone now falling into the sand. You have to delay a bit before you can move fast. Looks like Yaxo is going to be fine here overall, but with their actions, their push on that pick, they have split 4 different trios apart.
Oh my, that is just going to get messier and messier as it goes forward. Everyone's going to keep trying to get into safe zone, but every moment they have to breathe, it's not going to be there. As you see teams like Kubix, Arthur, and Advice pushing right into the box with a spray down and getting some nice knocks. Down goes Slove. It's barely up there. His trio mate did go down there, but the pressure is real. It is literally the extreme box dive right here. W key forward strat, and that's going to be able to be converted into not only Siphon and Mats, but 2 points on the board. Already, this trio has racked up 5 elims, 10 points. We're not even close to placements being doled out here, Shio, but the action is still picking up here all around the storm edge.
And literally, it's not stopping. It's the same trio side by side. Looking for an update on Miro and Snap. They're here now as well. Literally, everyone is here in this big brawl, and it's still dropping down fast. At the same time, Miro going down to Browner. These guys were in such a good position just moments ago, and after that, get pushed. Nothing for them to do there. The play well trio as well. Back against the wall. Phrase survived. Low HP, though. This is game number 1, and it is messy for Miro.
Man, we're talking about, I don't know what's the equivalent of the EU side of things for a messy meal. I know in Canada they got poutine. I know here in the States we got sloppy joes. But oh my goodness, this is going to be a very banger and mash type situation. It's all messy all over the place. And this is the battles that we have in the EU. It's battle here as a solo, trying to hold on as much as possible. Only getting 2 points here for the trio, with Story 6 picking that 1 elim, but man, this is all coming down to Salty Towers. Look at it. 4th zone already revealed, dead center Salty Towers. Are we gonna take a flashback into the lore days of Tilted and Salty Springs? Oh my goodness, this is insane.
It's like Salty Towers kind of like engulf the whole map with all these fights we're seeing, just 50-50 every single time. Looks like though from this side of the place, the Oxo is the one still on top, has position, and might have 2 more elims.
And so it's so interesting to see Savage, you know, they rotated out of here. They left so early and pushed all the way to Stealthy Stronghold. If they would have held on tight, granted, Storm Surge tags would have been a big factor. That's why maybe they pushed up there, but they let go of some really strong positioning, because we all know when it gets into that situation, as you see a big fight go down Vettel, the solo ride is over, Shy.
And see, this is what I was about to mention. Even if they left early, coming back, it's still their hometown. They're still paying rent. They have the builds all the way up top. I was going to say they would have position on the north side of zone, but they kind of gave that away to have a higher ground position in general over the entire POI. North is still kind of the dead side, but these guys not only have control of Salty Towers, they've had the most control on the map inside the early game, leaving the POI, dominating everyone up north. They've not let anyone come through right now, and they honestly have the best options for rotation as well to go back up. You see that zone pull towards the north, the top right as well. We'll see exactly how iDrop, Taste, and Savage handle it. Many trios on the right side under Storm Surge. That's where you're going to see a lot of aggression happen. These guys choose to go left after seeing the lightning, and at the same time have such a free rotation where they can refarm mats. If there is a trio right now that is in a good position from this rotation, it is Savage, but they have a big challenge ahead, Sandra. You can see there is a trio on height in a full metal base.
Dude, and it looks so scary. It looks like a trapezoid metal base. Look at it. It is Kinzo Waking Deceptos at the very bottom of that structure here, but you're seeing the rotations come out, and now you're seeing what it comes down to, the magic, the beauty, the purity of Fortnite. It is this first rotating circle here in the half in and half out. It's about to happen very soon. Zone 6, 7, 8, 9 are going to be full rotation into the storm. Of course, 9 is going to be the ultimate close. But right now, Taston's going to be closed and knocked down to all 4s here for a moment here. Is now Savage and iDrop. You thought it was free for a minute, Shio, but no, not so fast. The rest of the lobby finally shows up, and now Savage is going to have to go solo as well. These are the moments here. As a solo star, you have to hold on tight as much as possible and not get converted into elims. But looks like Savage has decided, oh, he tried. He knew his time was up. The number was called, but they walk away with 8 points in this first match.
A scam order on the rotation marked as free, but they ended up paying a monthly fee. This will just be game number 1 that they lose out on, but I feel like, yes, Sancho, of the points they have, of the pedestal they've made, another chance once again of the control they'll have early game to push forward. At the same time, do you have your sandals next to you or anything?
Yes. I got my sunscreen on, baby. Okay. I got my sandals. I'm ready to go.
I'll tell you why, because although Hen, Janice, and Shabix on height are looking really good, we saw this happen in round 3. Every time sand is in play, these guys are inside those bubbles. They're moving in these dunes left and right and getting sand inside their toes 24/7. These low ground rotates end up being free. No one really ends up shooting off those sand bubbles, and at the same time, these guys save so many mats. So low ground here might actually be the wave.
Low ground may be the way, but it took a look going to the north. It's going to go over a divot and through the river. So you're going to have to come out of your hiding spot. And where has this trio been? They came out of nowhere right now. YZip, Lysin, and that co are having at least 5 elims. Of course, Lysin coming from the console track in the EU scene, now making an appearance here at the FNCS. But look at these. Boyer is up as well. Look at that. Woo. That was fast. he got in, and he's probably the only one left. Moraine, as you see here, trailing the backside. This is the place where you don't want to be, folks. Everyone's trying to get to the front side. That is where you're going to want to be as much as possible, considering those front side players are going to turn and burn. Now you see all the layers are forming here. You see a nice mid-ground tarp happening, but we know that Hen and his trio of Chapix are sitting at height right now, looking pretty, but this is also a dangerous trio. That's the first time we get to see on the broadcast style of Kinzel, Wakey, and Deceptos.
And they barely even woken up, not even used any shields. The ammo count also looking very good. Obviously got some tags, Wakey picking up an Elam as well, getting to this point. Blaster, though, taking out Falconly all the way on low. The fight continues. Snap outside the back also gets dropped down fast. And now Kinzel, Wakey, and Deceptos, you mentioned it, Sancho, have such a good position. Floors as well, right below them for full metal, so they don't have to actually burn that cone just fast. And as the zone moves, they take a huge dip to go through, but in the air for just 2 seconds, Kinzel gets absolutely beamed from what seems like high ground.
You got to be careful when you use the bouncers. Janice, Chapix, and Hen are applying the pressure here. They are going to cash in as much as possible here. You already saw a lot of trios getting a lot of elims in the mid ground, but it's right now it's up to Hen, Chapix, and Janice to get as much elims here on the high ground, because who knows if they're not going to be able to get it again here. You got to cash in, as Hen does pick up a knock. Squeeze does get one on Hellfire, and another one on Void. Now Janice is pretty much just getting all these free dinks, and this opportunity to cash in is real. Look at it, Janice again getting some nice tags here. The high ground is king, and the high ground this match, at least, Shio, may prove to be worth not only the Victory Royale, but a huge point lead in the leaderboard.
Janice, Chapix, and Hen, a game of control and punishment on high ground. For everyone else, it's survival in the barren kind of glow ground of the desert. Nothing to drink, nothing to eat whatsoever. And at the same time, nothing to save yourself from the beams that Janice is dropping down. Also just staying above second height, just very smart at the same time, letting them breathe a little bit and then just firing down on one box so fast. Red Rush can't survive. Everyone now getting pushed down to low. That's where Cubics Raxo are trying to hold their turf down, but it's not possible. The Deceptos and Wakey are down there too. No Kinzel to help them out. A duel situation. It might just be one trio left alive now, Sancho. 5 different teams, 12 different players. We're going down to the last moments of game number 1.
And it's going to go all the way through this little river slot. So that's going to be much more mats being extended here by the low mid ground. The chaos is going to be, oh my goodness, it's going back. So that's going to extend the match just a little bit longer. And that's going to give actually Yanis and Chapix and Hen much more opportunities to get some extra beams, as you see right here. And you're looking at it right now. They actually have the flopper play. So Chapix picking up now, and they send down Chapix. Now Chapix is down there into the muck, racking up elims as well. So this is just a textbook fundamental play. Yes, get to the high ground and just stop them and send beams down and collect yourself a Victory Royale. Nicely done, gents.